By the age of 9, I was getting into small gangs and getting into trouble, stealing, that sort of stuff. And then at the age of 15, I ended up in a fight and I got stabbed. And I remember crawling through the door, blood everywhere, and seeing my mum cleaning. She saw me and screamed. I remember that moment of crawling and thinking, I'm going to die. I've got to get out of it. I have to change my lifestyle. I've got to go.
It's Jordan Mulligan from the Mulliganbrothers, and today's interview highlight is with Mark Billingham talking about his advice for the younger generation. Mark is somebody that we should all be listening to, but I feel that the younger generation would definitely get more from his message. We live in a world right now where I feel that we are being taught to be a little bit softer. And I think we need to find a balance between that and the extreme of working your fingers to the bone. Somewhere in the middle is that fine balance. And for me, it's more over on the hard working side. That's just my personal experience. But let's listen to what Mark has to say anyway. The sponsor of the video today is audible.com. With the link in the description, if you follow that link, you can get a free audiobook. You can get Mark Billingham's audiobook, which I have listened to. That's how I read Mark's book, through his audiobook. That is linked down below. So if you want to get Mark's book for free, click the link to audible.com and you can get that there. And thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video. Also, thank you to Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirt, the Inspire Change t-shirts that help support this. But before that, let's jump into Mark's video.
I was born on a council estate in the West Midlands, Walsall, 1965, into a family of 5. Came from a very poor background. I was the middle child. And although a poor family, I was the middle child that went rogue. Back in the day then, there was a lot of gang sort of warfare going on and people struggling for sort of authority positions, if you like. And I kind of immediately graduated towards that. And by the age of 9, I was getting into small gangs and getting into trouble, stealing, that sort of stuff. And at the age of 11, I then found myself in juvenile court for actual bodily harm, grievous bodily harm, all sorts of stuff. And in between this year of being 9 and 11, I joined a boxing club, an illegal boxing club, and an old man that I stole from took me to one side and said, listen, boxing is not about brutality, it's a poor man's game of chess. It's about anticipation, it's about thinking, it's about using your feet, using your brain. And I'll never forget those words. And the second thing he said to me was, it's about you as an individual going always a little further, because you can. And strangely enough, many, many years later, then I joined the SAS. That is part of our prayer, always a little further, and I've kept that as my mantra since. So I learned a lot of sort of lessons along the way, although I was a rogue child. I was fortunate enough to meet influential people that put me on the track, and he was the first one outside of my father that sort of sat me down and says, this is what you need to be doing. And he's very disciplined to me, and for whatever strange reason, as bad as I was, I understood discipline and I kind of needed that control. Unfortunately, in today's world, we've lost all that. We've lost that discipline, we've lost that respect. And for me, that's what kept me allowed to get me to where I am today, because I was still going rogue. So I had a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday boxing training, disciplined. Tuesday and a Thursday, I was a cadet, but I was still getting in trouble on the weekend. And everybody's heard the saying of, he got in with the wrong crowd. Well, I freely admit, and I know, and every child does know, I was the wrong crowd. We always look for somebody else to blame. And again, as I've gone through my life, I realise you need to own up to what you really are and what you're doing in order to move forward. And then at the age of 13, I couldn't understand what I was learning at school. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's, all that sort of stuff didn't make any sense to me. And while I was in the cadets at the age of 11, I was being taught first aid, how to navigate, and that made sense to me. I could see how that was going to be used in my life. So I kind of, and wrongly now I know that, I disbanded school. And at the age of 13, I got expelled from school for gluing the maths teacher to the chair, thinking it was clever. And he captured me, put me in detention, and was determined I was going to do detention, and was 2 floors up. And he was in the room with me, keeping me there. And as soon as he went to the door to do something, I opened the window and jumped out into the bushes and ran off. And then at the age of 15, I ended up in a fight and I got stabbed. And it was at the time of the skinheads, the rockers, and the punks, all this sort of mixed craziness going on, and violence was getting worse, knives, drugs was getting involved. When I say drugs, it was mainly glue sniffing, which I'm happy to say I never got into, but a lot of friends did. gangs were meeting up and slashing each other with cutthroats, and it was getting violent. And then I ended up in a fight. I got stabbed literally about 100 metres from my house. And I remember crawling back to the house. And as I was crawling, I was sort of going in and out, and it went from pain to sort of, as if I was drunk. I was like floating and realising it's because the blood was leaving my body and I was about to collapse, you know. And I remember crawling through the door, blood everywhere, and seeing my mum cleaning. She saw me and screamed. And the next thing I remember, she put this woolly jumper directly on the wound, and that woke me up again. I was like, ah! You know. But I remember that moment of crawling and thinking, I'm going to die. I've got to get out of it. I have to change my lifestyle. I've got to go. I knew that's where I wanted to go. I wasn't sure exactly where in the military I wanted to go, but I knew the military was going to be my saving grace. And it turned out to be that a bit later on in life. You know, I eventually joined just after 17, and when I joined the parachute regiment, and that's when my whole life changed then. You know, I realised I'd done the right thing. I knew this is where I needed to be, and I was now looking at real men, not little troublemakers from where I was that I thought was a big fish and I wasn't. These were real men, been to war just after the Falklands, respected, and I remember looking and thinking, that's who I want to be. I want to be remembered and respected for something good like these people. And that was my, I've got to do this moment. And I remember standing on a square with 70 other recruits, and I was one of the youngest, and definitely the skinniest, or one of the skinniest. There's two of us that are quite skinny. And I remember looking down the line, and it was blokes with big chests, hairy chests, tattoos, moustache, you know, and I was like, wow. And I was a skinny little kid thinking, I'm out my depth. There's no way I'm going to be able to compete with these people. And that was in my mindset, and I was already starting to, you know, mentally lose it and thinking, I ain't going to do it. Then I just thought, I'm here. I'm not going back to that lifestyle. I've got to make this work. And as the weeks went by, the numbers got fewer, and I was still there. And every day I looked down the line and more people went, these big guys were going, it gave me strength and it gave me belief. I thought, I can't fucking do this. I'm going to do this. And I started to not get cocky, I got confident and believed in myself. And every day was difficult, every day was different and hard, but I just thought, I can do this. And it went on and went on and went on, and the numbers got fewer and fewer and fewer, and I was still there. And it was hard, you know, and every day I felt like throwing my hand in, but the thing that stopped me doing it was going back to the lifestyle and the way I was. I couldn't do it. I enjoyed it while I was there. I knew it was a time frame that you could do this for, and I just wanted to get as much as I possibly could out of it. Keep going back and doing whatever it might be, and not always in conflict. Sometimes it was in, you know, natural disaster type stuff, but helping, getting out there, doing some different situation, thinking on your feet and making a difference. That's what it was all about, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. They said, if you want to be something, go out and do it, or try and do it at least. And even if you, and I always say this, you're setting a goal of being a world champion boxer. I'm going for it. No way am I going to meet it, but you know what? I won a Staffordshire title, and I won that title. I did a lot better than I thought I would do, because I went for it. So don't talk about it, do it.
And there you go, Mark Billy Billingham on his lessons to the younger generation. Somebody I think we should definitely listen to. You know, I have my own opinions, and Mark has his, and I agree with a lot of them. So if you want to follow Mark on Instagram, it's linked down below. See what he gets up to. If you want to read Mark's book, our sponsor of the video today is audible.com. If you click that link in the description, you can get a free copy of Mark's book with that link. I personally have Mark's audiobook. That's how I read his book. It's linked down below, so go check that out. Thank you so much for audible.com for sponsoring the video. And also thank you to Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Hardest Work in the Room t-shirts, the Inspire Change t-shirts, and so much more that helps support this whole thing happen. It means in a few weeks' time, we are filming part 2 with Mark Billy Billingham. So comment down below what you want to hear from Mark. We will ask him the questions in the next interview. Have a blessed and productive day. Go follow me on Instagram @Jordan Mulligan Brother. And yeah, go inspire some change, people. Peace.